FSU had a host of recruits on campus on Saturday night for the Clemson game. Unfortunately, the game didn't go the way the Noles wanted, but what was the impact of that game and the current Seminoles 3-game losing streak when it comes to recruiting? Hey guys, thanks for watching, thanks for checking out the video, and thanks for being here. TJ Pittenger again. Do me a favor, smash subscribe below, give me a thumbs up, share your thoughts in the comments on how you think this 3-game skid by the Noles is impacting recruiting. Unfortunately, Florida State has dropped 3 games in a row, all to ranked opponents. The most recent one was inside of Doak Campbell Stadium with a large contingent of recruits on the sidelines and in the stands. We spoke last week with Josh Newberg about some of the commits that FSU would have on campus and where they stood in those recruitments and what they needed to do for each of them. Well, what's the impact of this loss and, more importantly, the 3-game losing streak for the recruits that are currently considering Florida State? As of right now, it honestly seems like they're pretty understanding, maybe more so than the loud and often wrong loud part of the fan base is. The atmosphere at the game on Saturday night was special. It was a night game in Tallahassee. It brought a lot of energy, and that bodes well for the Seminoles. 80,000 people doing the chop as Osceola rides Renegade out to midfield and plant the spear. You know, those are all good things that help FSU when they're recruiting. The Noles getting up on Clemson a couple of times early, and that electricity, that fight, that atmosphere that the recruits saw, all good things, all bode well. Even really just fighting back. There were several recruits that commented on that. Those all seem to be positive for the recruits in attendance. Obviously, you lose the game, and that's a negative, and you certainly would have changed that if you could. But the recruits that have gone public and done interviews after their time in Tallahassee this weekend have been mostly positive. It's always a lot of coach speak, but even 5-star wide receiver Hykeem Williams spoke about FSU's fight and wanting to play with guys who would continue to compete and not quit. Keldric Faulk, who was supposed to be in Knoxville this weekend, we did a video for him specifically, also spoke with Josh Newberg about him in a video you can go back and watch from earlier. He said that he would be shutting down his recruitment. Remember, he's the one that was supposed to be in Knoxville this weekend, but had a change of plans and ended up being in Tallahassee for the Clemson game. Said that he was shutting down his recruitment, which seems to be a great thing for the Seminoles as he's one of their highest rated prospects. I got word from somebody that Damari Brown really loved his visit. I think it was a good weekend for FSU in that recruitment. DJ Chester also seemed to really enjoy his time in Tallahassee from a few folks that are close to that situation. I'll say this. I'll be very interested to see how things went for Rod Kearney and Zachariah Owens. Those are two that I'm very interested in due to the circumstances around their visits. Rod was expected to be at UF for the LSU game this weekend until FSU seems to have upgraded his trip a little bit to make it an official visit. Owens decommitted from Clemson just to be able to make this trip. Have a couple feelers out there, and we'll update as soon as we can on both of those. But those are two that I'm really, really interested in. All in all, recruits seem to still be pretty bought in. We've said before that it's really, really important in recruiting to start well, and the Noles did that this year. The 4-0 start brought a lot of excitement. It brought a lot of hype. You'll remember in the midst of that 4-0 start, you had Hykeem Williams commit, you had Blake Nicholson commit, and you have a lot of positivity from there. Not a lot since then, and you've obviously lost the next 3 after that 4-0 start, but we knew this month was going to be extremely tough. We knew that playing 3 top 15 opponents and one that was in the top 5 of that group was going to be extremely difficult. If you were Florida State, you would have loved to steal one of these because 5-2 would be massive right now as you look down the stretch of 5 games that are pretty winnable. The middle month, like we said, was always going to be tough, but you've got a great chance to end it on a high note. If you can win 3 or maybe even 4, get really, really lucky and run the table and win all 5, all of that to include a big win at home with a bunch of recruits in attendance on Black Friday, you've got a great chance to keep this class together. And it will be the best one that Mike Norvell has ever put together. The Noles have it all right in front of them. A tough setback month of October. They get a bye week right now. They'll do some recruiting on the bye week. They'll make some visits. And then it's the stretch run to the end of the season. That'll lead you right into December, and you've got 3 weeks of craziness before early signing day. The Noles can still accomplish a lot of recruiting goals, and this 3-game skid has not set them back very far, if at all. They'll need to take care of business down the stretch. They'll need to finish well with some of these guys that they've built good relationships with, and I think the Noles will finish pretty well in recruiting this year. Probably Mike Norvell's best class that he's had at Florida State. Set them up to have a pretty good 2024 run at things. Thanks again for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Smash that subscribe button. How do you think things turn out recruiting-wise? How big of a hindrance do you think this 3-game skid is going to be? Love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Thumbs up for the video if you enjoyed it. We'll talk to you guys soon. Go Noles.